Welcome everybody to the Lavish Show. I'm so glad that you're joining us. I want to say from my heart that I'm truly blessed to be here today, and also I'm praying for you to stay safe during this pandemic. On the show today, we have some phenomenal guests. We have State Senator wife, Mrs. Melissa England, Jeremy England's wife. She'll be on the show today in respect to Mother's Day. And we also have another pillar of the community. His name is Mr. Calvin Hutchins, and he has a history of law enforcement and everything. So I want you to be blessed and sit back and relax. And you know, one thing, I want to bring my daughter, Mariah, in respect to Mother's Day. Say hey. All right, happy Mother's Day to you all. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shira Stallworth, Creative Women Enterprises Television Network. Follow me on social media. And you have a YouTube channel too, don't you? What's it called?
Mariah Angel.
Mariah Angel. Okay, she loves TikTok, everybody. But sit back and relax and enjoy the Lavish Show. It gets better and better. It gets better and better. It gets better. Welcome back to the Lavish Show. I'm so excited. We have a queen on the show today. And you know what, audience? She has been a supporter of her husband since his campaign. You know, they have a beautiful family. And in respect to Mother's Day, I wanted her to come on the show today to represent what true motherhood is, and also what a true woman that supports her husband, you know, and whatever he decides to do, but also everything that she has done during his campaign. She goes by the name of Mrs. Melissa England. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to have you, and when I mean that I call you queen, I really mean that, because I respect women that, you know, have their voice and also that do things in the community, and you are one of those faces.
Thank you.
And you have a servant's heart, and I appreciate that.
Yes, yes.
So tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Melissa. I'm married to Jeremy England. He's the state senator for District 51 here in South Mississippi.
Okay.
And we live in the St. Martin community. And we have two wonderful kids, a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old little girl and a 9-year-old little boy. And yeah, I'm work for a medical practice. I'm a practice administrator, okay. And you know, a mom and a manager and a wife, and that's me.
Yes, yes. And like she said, you know, her husband is our state representative of District 51,
yes.
Jeremy England. And if you can remember back, they were on the show, well, he was on the show, and
yes.
They both were campaigning and their
yes.
family and everything, and he actually made it.
Yes.
And I'm excited about that. And tell us a little bit about that journey of that campaign.
Sure.
You know.
So it was 2019 was a crazy year for us, and it hasn't stopped yet. But we did. He started his campaign early in 2019, and we just worked as hard as we possibly could to get him elected, and it paid off, because he did get elected. It was a tight race.
Yes.
And it was very exciting. And, you know, just like I said, it hasn't stopped. We're still, you know, the campaign portion is done. Mm-hmm. And so we got a little bit of a reprieve from that during the holidays and stuff. But then when the session began at the beginning of January, he left. He would leave during the weeks to go up there to Jackson to the session. So that left me at home doing our normal, running our house and working and yeah.
Yes, because we all know behind every strong man is a powerful, strong woman.
That's right. That's right.
And you have beautiful children.
Thank
and
you.
I just love watching the transparency of your family. And she has a beautiful
Thank
mother.
you.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness,
I
Miss
do.
Cindy, give her a shout out. But one thing I like about the campaign and like about you and your husband, y'all are very transparent about everything. And I love that. I even see you on social media, and he's doing interviews, and he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He comes black and white, whatever it is. So tell us a little bit about what he may be facing now during this, COVID-19 pandemic. And, what are y'all doing now in this, season right now that we're in?
So right now, we are both actually very fortunate that we actually both still have our careers. We still have our jobs. They're still there. That is something that a lot of people don't have right now. So we definitely acknowledge the fact that we're very fortunate to have that.
Yes.
And so right now we're trying to help the families that don't. That's our biggest thing between me and him lately. Of course, now he's going back and forth to Jackson. Now that they're starting to get things kicked off. He's actually on his way home, I believe, right now from there. So he's been there for a couple days. But we're trying to help the families that aren't fortunate to have that. The ones that are having issues with the unemployment, getting their unemployment filed, or they have issues getting a call back and stuff like that. So me and him have been working pretty diligently to create lists from emails and stuff that we get to send to a contact that he has, so that we can hopefully help some of these families through this quicker, because we know that a lot of them are suffering and don't have that income right now. So.
I was looking on your page on Facebook, and we'll get her information at the end of the show, how to reach her in Senator England. But, a lot of people had questions about MDES, the unemployment. They had questions about, they've been waiting, they've been calling, no answers, they're not getting a reply.
Yes.
How do y'all respond to that situation? Because it's heavy in Mississippi.
It's very heavy. I do think that the MDES organization is trying. I do, and they care about the people of Mississippi, of course, and they are working very hard, long hours. We know that. But I think that there's a couple misses, maybe in their phone system and things like that. It's not just quite there because this came on unexpectedly. Nobody was prepared for this, so you can't imagine with that. And then with all the unemployment going on, unemployment is a very complex deal. I mean, it takes a lot to get approved for unemployment anyway. So there's what I learned the other day after listening to the hearing that Jeremy and his chairman of his committee had with MDES, was that there's a lot of regulations in place that they have to abide by in order to process a person through unemployment. So it's easily, people can fall through the cracks easily, and not necessarily anybody's fault, but it can happen. And so we're trying to help those families and also help the MDES to see those problems and know who the claimants are who need that assistance. And so, there's only so many hours in the day. So, it is upsetting because we can only do so many in a day.
I know.
And, we're getting tons of emails, and we're trying to work through them.
Yes.
And Jeremy, he responds to all of them.
I know he does. I can tell. He's very transparent because I've seen that on Facebook. Like, he'll respond. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
He really has a heart. Like I said, a servant's heart. You and he as well. Even with, the COVID-19 and all this stuff that is going on in the world, you and your husband still try to make the initiative to reach out to people and let them know that it's going to be okay.
Yes, and it will be okay. And we will get through this, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. And just, that's what he tells everybody, just hang in there, because we're gonna do what we can, and we're all gonna work together to try to get this, come through this.
So what committee is Jeremy on?
So the one that's focusing on the unemployment stuff currently is Economic Workforce and Development.
Okay.
And he's co-chair of that committee presently. Yeah.
Okay, so he's busy right now.
He's very busy. Yes.
I
yes.
can tell. Also, when y'all was campaigning for, him to make senator in that
Yes.
district, there were a lot of concerns. If he gets elected, will he keep his promise? Will he do this?
Right.
Will he do that?
Yes.
And from my perspective, I see that he's doing things, like quickly.
Yeah.
He even went on WLOX about the train track in Pascagoula.
Yeah.
I said, Lord, he's a voice for everybody. He's doing things. So, I know you one of his greatest supporters.
I am.
What do you think, will move our state forward in this season that we're in with people, working together? What do you think will move us forward?
I think the biggest thing that's going to help, and me and him have talked about this a lot lately, and he's actually speaking on behalf of this weekend, but is to get our state reopened. I mean, I know that, you have the element of the virus and everything, but we've got to get our people back to work.
Okay.
And we have to start and doing it safely, of course, with mask and gloves and whatever it is that's specific to that field.
Right.
But we've got to get everyone back to work, because people in Mississippi, they're hard workers.
That's right.
And they want to work. And, we've seen, like, some of the emails that we've gotten are people that they're like, I've been working for 30 years. I've never filed for unemployment. I want to go back to work.
That's so true.
And I think for morale and for, just the sanity purposes, and also so that they can take care of their families.
Right.
We have got to get people back to work, and we've got to start opening back up our state.
Right. Tell us about the barbershops, because I seen a post that he made about the barbershops and the salons. What are y'all doing, or what are y'all trying to achieve, or he in the Senate?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So he is very open about, of course, and supporting all businesses, but right now, that's the one that was kind of in the beginning being non-essential and stuff. And so, and there's a lot of them. I mean, I know the governor mentioned 45,000 barbers, cosmetologists within our state that are licensed. That's a big number, and they can't work right now. They can't open their salons. They can't open their barber shops. And so they're not getting paid, and a lot of them are 1099 employees, so their businesses didn't qualify for the PPP program to protect their paychecks, and so they're not able to work, they're not able to run their business, they're not able to make money, and so what he did was he basically wanted to encourage the governor to really look at that field, and that's what that post was for, which actually I think went viral. It reached like 335,000 people or something, maybe a lot. And so, but and with that, he said that he was going to send the letter, or it actually was an email because he couldn't get it on his letterhead at the time.
Right.
An email to the governor, just encouraging him and asking him to open those up. In addition to those, like tattoo parlors and nail salons and massage therapists and stuff, those service-oriented businesses like that, he was encouraging him to let's get the ball rolling on this, and let's get it open, because these people need to go back to work
and get some funding.
Yes,
for that.
and help. And I know in the money that has come down from the federal government to now the governor and the legislature. They have an agreement now, which is great. That they are going to work together to make sure that money gets out to the public and the people that need it.
Good.
So right now, and I know that part of that in the appropriations meeting today, they aired it on Facebook, and they talked about specifically a portion of that going to figuring out how to give that money in some way to salons and barbers. Yes, excuse me, and people that are in that service industry.
Excellent.
That didn't qualify for, say, other funds.
Funding. That's right. Well, I'm so excited that you're here, Miss England,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
England. But before I let you go, like I said, in honor of Mother's Day coming up, I know that you're a mother and everything. What are some things that you want to do as a woman, in the community? What would you like to do? You told me earlier that you was on the...
I used to be on Junior Auxiliary, Biloxi Ocean Springs Junior Auxiliary.
Okay.
And I'm now a life member from that organization. We used to help kids in the community.
Awesome.
And big organization. I know there's one for Pascagoula Moss Point as well, a chapter over here. But I would love, that's been a few years ago, and then we had the campaign and everything. I don't really have a set thing right now other than helping Jeremy with these unemployment claims and issues, but wherever he takes me, wherever the good Lord takes me and puts me there to help out, that's where I want to be and what I want to be doing. So
good answer, because like I said before, she has a servant heart.
That's right.
And I appreciate you. How can we get in contact with you or Senator England? How can we get in contact?
So the best way to do it is to go to Jeremy's page, probably on his Facebook page, his Senator Facebook page. I believe it's Senator Jeremy England.
Okay, to
if
get
I'm
in
not
contact.
mistaken. Yes, to get in contact with him, you can message him. His email's on there. To have everything kind of flow through that makes it a little bit easier, so we make sure we don't miss anybody.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you want to say to the audience?
No, just, this is a very difficult time for all of us, I believe, and we just need a lot of prayer. So,
that's right.
Pray for your neighbors and your family and your friends and just everybody, your leaders in the community, state, city, county, all of them. I mean, they need your prayers because hard decisions are being made. So.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you,
Thank
Queen.
You. Thank you.
Well, when we come back, we have another pillar of the community. He goes by the name of Mr. Calvin Hutchins. I can't wait, so stay tuned.
It gets better and better. 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 Better, 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 better. It gets better and 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 better. I'm on my grind, on my shine. People ask me why. I tell them take a seat because it might take a while. How did you get it? How did you flip it? What made you grab it? Because I'm lavish, not baggage, and I'm determined to have it. With nothing in my way, I'm going into space to meet with my creator, talk to him face to face. When I was young, I was blamed for a hit and run. Popping Molly, smoking trees, the devil had me gone. Creator said it's not over, you're not the only one. Trust in me, you are a soldier, this is how it's done. Trench holes get nasty, street corners get trashy. Crack house to the trap house, got people thinking it's magic. It gets better and better, it gets better and better. It gets better and better, it gets better and better. It gets better and better.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Lavish Show. I'm so excited about our next guest that's on the show today. He's full of integrity. He works well as a leader in the community. I have always appreciated his servant's heart. He goes by the name of Mr. Calvin Hutchins. Welcome to the show.
Bless you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I so appreciate you and the things that you have done in the community over the years. And, you have even assisted me in certain events that I had in the community. And I appreciate your work, and it's been a long time coming. And I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Let's get into who you are and where did you grow up? Tell our audience.
Well, I grew up in Moss Point, and I've been in Jackson County all my life.
Okay.
Went through grade school, Creole at Male, and
really?
Moss Point High School. Graduated from Moss Point High School in 1990.
Wow.
And from that point on, I stayed here and got involved in law enforcement at an early age.
Okay.
And I stayed with that career, and here I am today. Still
wow. So you are a native of Moss Point?
Yes, I am.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yes, been in Moss Point all my life.
Okay. And
Until I moved to Pascagoula when I got a little older, got married, and moved out to Pascagoula.
yes, and shout out to your wife because it's Mother's Day coming up, and shout out to her as well. And you said something about law enforcement. When did you get into that?
Basically, I got in law enforcement at the age 15. I joined the Moss Point Youth Explorer program back when I was in the, I think, 9th grade, and stayed in that program and worked until I just chose to get involved in a career. What happened is I was a manager with Moss Point Athletic Department, and every Friday night there was 2 officers that was always at the game. I always went up to these 2 officers, Joe Ray Jones, and he's deceased now, but Jerry Bridges. I always went to those guys, and I was fascinated with their uniform, fascinated with their weapon.
Really?
And asked them how old you have to be a police officer. And every Friday night, I would go to them. They would tell me, you have to be 21. You have to be 21. And so I told Officer Bridges at the time, I said, when I turn 21, I'm going to come look for you, and I want to be a police officer. And he said, all right, when you turn 21, you find me, and I will take you to the chief. And my 21st birthday, I went to Mr. Bridges' house, and he took me to see Chief Barber. And from there, Chief Barber came out on the side of the building, looked at me, and he said, look, you're mighty small to be a police officer. And he said, well, how about joining the reserve and see whether or not you'll be interested in becoming a full-time. He said, give it a shot first. And I did. He accepted me into the Moss Point Auxiliary. I stayed there about 3 months. Chief Barber called me in the office and said, look, you're going to give a civil service test, and you pass that test, you hired. And and that's what happened. My career started in 1994, April the 9th, 1994. Hired on by Chief Charles Barber.
And you have been in law enforcement from then till now, because right now you're a constable, right?
Correct.
So how many terms, have you been doing this?
Right now, I just re-elected last year. And
Okay.
I'm in my 2nd term now as constable. I was elected in 2015 after Constable Donna Moffitt. He retired, and when he retired, he actually, we ran for position, and when I ran for position there, I got elected, and Constable Moffitt actually continued to check on me today, and make sure that I'm doing as well as he did.
Okay.
And I promised him that I would not let him down. I was going to do the same type of job that he did.
Wow.
And to keep the integrity in the constable position.
That's right.
And so we're doing the same thing. And he's, in matter of fact, I talked to him yesterday, and we kind of keep in contact. He let me know that the feedback that he get from the community is positive, and he want me to continue on to do the great job that I'm doing.
Wow, you do that well.
Right.
You do, because like I said before, you have a servant's heart. I'm always seeing you, on social media, I don't never see anything negative on your page. It's always positive. And kids and the youth today need to see a leader, especially a black man in a community that can do things the right way.
Absolutely.
And, and I know you have a heart for the youth, even with you being a pastor and everything. What are some of your initiatives or goals that you want to meet, as being an officer, a constable, as being a leader in the community, a pastor? What are some of the things that you have, the desires that you have for our community?
Honestly, continue to do what we're doing now. And you said something earlier, have a servant heart. And that is to do whatever you can to be positive and productive. As you stated in my Facebook page, I try to keep everything positive and keep everybody encouraged. What the world needs today is to be encouraged to know that they can actually be somebody. Coming out of Moss Point, I grew up in Creole. A lot of people think that Creole is the worst place to live in Moss Point. Well, I'm product of Creole, product of Creole Elementary at Male, as well as Moss Point High School. And I can tell anybody any day of the week that Moss Point is a place to educate your children, and a place to grow up and be positive and productive. There are some positive people in Moss Point.
Yes, it is.
I'm positive. I'm proven fact that you can be successful.
Yes.
Don't matter about your about your color. It just matters about your character. Your
That's
character
right.
is everything. And once you lose your integrity, you might as well just hang it up. You know, integrity is everything, and I
Yes,
believe
it
in that,
is.
and that's what I live by. I'm a hard person. My children will tell you, their dad's pretty rough and hard because I expect them to be better than what I was, because that's what my dad expected out of us as
Right.
children. He encouraged us not to be like him, but be better than him.
That's
and
right.
I encourage my children to do the same. Don't be
That's right.
don't be just like me, but
Yeah,
be better than him.
but be better.
Yeah, carry it to another level.
Character, integrity, accountability. You know, I'm running for mayor in Morris, but I don't know if you knew that or not for 2021. But what kind of advice would you give me, you know, as starting out as a female, running for a position in the city of Morris Point?
I would say this, you know, based on my office and me being elected into an elected position, I'm kind of want to skate around that area, you know, because I don't want anybody to get any type of negative influence or thinking that I'm endorsing a candidate here. But I will tell you this, you know, if you have a platform, you stand on that platform and you pursue whatever you want. It's your desire, go for it.
All right. And I like the way you put that and worded that, because, you know, a lot of time people don't think about everybody else.
Right.
And I like that you're honest, and I like that you're transparent. Like I said before, even in the community, you know, things that you're doing now in the community as a constable. Let me go back to that real quick. Could you explain your position as a constable? Because a lot of young people get it twisted or confused about, you know, what do you have the right to do?
Right. A constable we're an elected position. We actually have the same authority as any regular officers you see riding around here in the street. We have arrest power. A lot of people don't think the constable have arrest power. They think that we're bailiffs, and that's not the case here. We are certified police officers.
Okay.
And only thing that we do different from any municipalities is run radar. We just like a county employee and have the same authority to issue citation, serve arrest warrants. We work under the Justice Court. We serve a lot of process from Justice Court.
Oh, wow.
We handle some of the things like evictions and of that nature. That's something that I'm not really proud of. I try to encourage people, you know, if you owe a debt, you know, try to handle it without, you know, letting your tenants have to go
So
to
you're the one
above.
that knocks on the door?
I'm the one that actually knocks on the door.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it just in Jackson County that you're, is that your scope, Jackson County, that you work in?
I'm actually, I'm assigned to District 2, and my
Okay.
district covers Moss Point, Goshen, and Pascagoula. And I'm just handling that Pacific area, and occasionally I might get a few papers that'll go to Ocean Springs, but not very often I get to Ocean Springs. But for as jurisdiction-wise, it's anywhere in Jackson County.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. What do you like most about law enforcement or your career? What has been the blessing of your career?
Meeting people, and actually helping people. Some people are hurt when someone breaks into their homes and take some of value. To go out and solve their cases and get them back their possession and put a smile back on that person's face,
Wow.
that means a lot. That means that you have done something that make that person feel good. And
Right.
again, I made several contact with people and actually be genuine. Be genuine with the people, and they will appreciate that.
Right. And during this COVID-19, this pandemic that's going on, and we had Mrs. Melissa England on, and she said we need the power of prayer. Pray. And I want you to do that for our audience today. Would you mind praying to encourage somebody during this that's going on, and just, speak to our audience?
Yeah, I will do that. And just to let people know, especially citizens of Moss Point, take heed to the government, where the people, the mayor, the board of aldermen, and all your city officials, the governor, and follow the guidelines. This is something that you don't take lightly. This is something that you don't play with. If you can look around and see the effect that it's causing, you can see people's lives, they're dying.
That's right.
And just take heed to the warnings. If somebody tell you something that's good, you ought to listen to it. Follow good advice, and then we'll say a quick prayer. And,
Okay.
Father God in heaven, we thank you for your love, your kindness, your tender mercy. Lord God, we ask you to look down on this nation, look down on this country. God, we ask you to look down on our president, and God, we ask you to look down on our governor, and God, and our mayors and all city officials. We ask God to you just continue to look down on the homes of the people who may be suffering from this COVID virus. We ask you, Father, to just give us strength. We ask you to heal this country. Heal us, oh God. Protect us. Keep your loving angels and kept all around about us. We love you. We give your name praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Now, how can we get in contact with you?
Easily. You can contact Justice Court, and you contact Justice Court, they will contact me. I can assure you that. They call me all the time.
Okay, you also do security a lot, too. I see you at certain events. I'm like, oh, Lord,
Yeah, I do.
better watch out.
Well, I'm needed, and if I'm available, I try to be, like I said, be a help to the community.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to have you, Mr. Calvin Hutchins, a pillar of the community. I'm just excited that you accepted my invite, and I look forward to having you again.
Well, thank you for having me.
All righty.
Fist bump.
Comes in.